Hello, chart watchers and Decision Point faithful. Welcome to this Monday, August 31st, 2020 episode of Decision Point. I'm Erin Swenlin, and I am here with my father, Carl Swenlin. It's our job to prepare you for the week ahead here on the Decision Point show, so we have lots of charts and lots of discussion items for you. But before I get started, I'd like to welcome my dad to the Zoom room. How are you doing today?
Doing fine.
Excellent. That's always good to hear. It's like when you used to ask me how my day at school was, though, and I always would say, fine.
Right.
All right, let's go ahead and we're going to get started. I'll talk to you a little bit more about our free trading room that's on Mondays. We're going to look at a brand new long-term PMO buy signal for the S&P 500. The monthly chart went final, so we'll take a quick peek at that. What's up with the VIX? I don't know about you, Dad, but there's some really interesting divergence going on with the VIX, so we could talk a little bit about that shortly. We'll definitely cover Apple and Tesla, obviously with the splits, and of course the news of the shakeup with the Dow for Apple. There's lots to talk about there. And we'll move right on into talking about indexing and cap weights within some of these index funds. And then I will finish up with my diamond of the week for you. So we'll see how that one does. All right, let's get it started. First of all, like I said, we do have a free trading room. You only have to register once and then you'll be able to dip in there whenever you'd like. I do send out the recordings to those who are registered and onto our free email list. So if you go to decisionpoint.com, right there on the front page, just sign up for our free email list and I'll get you on the list so that you can join us on live on Mondays at noon Eastern. And I really had a great time this morning. I take questions, lots of symbol requests. We look at daily charts and then I fade on into the 5-minute intraday so I can talk to you about entry points and how I do that. So lots of great information there and it's all free. So go ahead and sign up for that. All right, DecisionPoint Scoreboards. As I said, we do have that new signal change, a long-term trend model PMO buy signal. And for those of you who watch our monthly chart during the month, you may have noticed that that signal appeared to have come in earlier than August 31st, but we don't count our monthly signals until after the last trading day of the month has been completed. Similarly, last trading day of the week for our weekly signals, except for the trend model, but PMO, that's how they're set up. All right, that was the only change. Sector scoreboard looks pretty much the same. We had been waiting on the XLE sell signal to move to a buy, but those EMAs, energy started to fail, and consequently the 20-day EMA just never made it to the 50-day EMA, and now they're starting to move apart again. So that signal looks like it's going to stay intact for quite a while. All right, so let's go ahead and look at some of the charts that we have for you today. I'm going to start us off with the daily chart, and I think we can talk about the VIX a little bit here too, Dad. We did end up with a new intraday high today for this is the SPY. And so technically we don't actually have a top yet. We haven't had a decline that brought us down, has that intraday bar lower since back here, middle of August. So we're seeing the market continuing up, up, up. But at the same time, we're seeing the fear factor starting to really push higher, which is interesting because generally you start seeing those fear factors really going up when the market is going down. So it's interesting to me that right now we're seeing that fear factor kicking in, even though we still haven't topped yet in the SPY. What are some of the thoughts that are going through your head on this?
Apple?
No. On the VIX, the fact that the VIX is really moving higher, but prices too, and generally, you can look at the history. It tends to be the VIX rises when we're on a downswing, not an upswing. So just wonder if you have any thoughts about that.
Well, it could be that it's topping. That's that's could be the indicator that I would pick. But yeah, that
It's
it's people are getting
strange.
concerned. You know, there are a lot. You know, anecdotally, there are a lot of people out there that are starting to think, well, we need to have a pullback. Starting to worry about it. So it could be that's especially with the stock split.
Right, right. And you know, like I said, the crazy thing is usually when we get those high readings, that's an indication we're going to start seeing the market turn up. But I have to agree with you, seeing that fear factor building as price is continuing up. I guess now a wall of worry apparently is what we're climbing upon. But yeah, that does give me some issue, because if everybody else is, you know, we're all kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop, if you will. And, you know, we are slowing that ascent just slightly, but
Look, it had the VIX bar today was almost at the upper band, and then the market, basically the SPY was made new all-time highs, and then it closed down. And so
yeah,
when it started sliding, that certainly explains
the
the
change.
the VIX closing on its low today.
Right. No, it's a good point. So, and then we've been talking about how these Bollinger Bands have been squeezing on the VIX quite a bit. And so, of course, we're going to find it a lot easier for the VIX to, punch through either the lower or the upper band. I mean, you can see we came close earlier on Thursday. You know, with that very long bar, we almost traded all the way within the Bollinger Band and punched up through the top and the bottom. So at this point, I would have to agree with you. I'm seeing this divergence as more of a sign of a possible decline rather than, what we look at usually with really bearish sentiment, that's when you look for that upside reversal. Well, in this case, we're already moving to the upside. So certainly food for thought. I know that's been concerning me quite a bit. And looking at our breadth chart here as well, we have the new numbers right now. Let me get rid of this. And again, we had a positive day, and look at the negativity of the net advanced declines and the net advanced declining volume. I mean, those are the kind of readings you expect on a down day, certainly not a day where we log another all-time high intraday.
Could say it's not actually climactic today, but it's getting close to there.
Certainly, very similar.
Another thing on that chart, notice the new highs, they actually contracted today. And I should know that the way that new highs are calculated, they're calculated based on the intraday high and low. So you could have a day when everything was up on the intraday, and so you would be scoring new highs, and then it would close down. You could still have those captured as new highs, at the close. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's good to know. So yeah, it's just interesting to see these, the dichotomy of the divergence right now between price and some of these indicators. And I think all of that is indicative that we could be looking at something not so good on the horizon. I want to look at this candle chart because I just noticed the candle over here. Okay, it's not quite a shooting star. It really had that, if we had gotten that low closer to closer to that low, but it's still not a good sign to see that big tail up there, the big long wick, if you will. It gave us that new intraday high, all-time high, but now, like you said, we saw it fade at the end. So
nominally, it's not a very big deal.
Right. So
but we're sitting here watching, waiting.
Exactly.
There's something big to happen.
Right, bated breath. All right, well, I think this might be a good time to move into, some of the news of the day as far as, the splits. I think everybody's been talking about that. So we'd love to get your view on what you're seeing with Apple and, You know, and Tesla, of course, we can't lead the discussion without talking about them.
Yes. Let me get LG was, had a kind of a blah day. Now, you would say that's because the Apple split, but no, that wouldn't on these sector indexes, on just anywhere else that Apple is a component, they're cap weighted indexes. So this is showing technology making no all-time highs, but it's kind of sluggish up here. Apple up over 3%, and not a very. It didn't close on its highs, but it closed in the upper half. But anyway, I heard some news today about Apple. Let's see. Apple demand for Apple stock today overwhelmed Robinhood and TD Ameritrade. I don't know how the other brokerages were made out on it, but anyway, there was a lot of demand because it's now a quarter of the price that it was before. So it's a lot easier to get into it, isn't it?
I guess
That's
so.
one of the things about splits is it's a methodology for distributing into the weak hands. Not saying that's happening now, but it could be, because it is sometimes a component of the result that you get after a split.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Tesla up here. Yeah, I just wanted to take a look at that. This Tesla is, it's starting to look like a really good company, but the pricing on it is insane. So, but it's getting another swoosh upward here to a vertical descent. And you see what happened here back in early this year. And this was I don't know exactly, but it's 60, 70% decline from that top. So you could easily see the same thing happen. The one thing that may be holding it up is Tesla is the most shorted stock there is. But number two, I was surprised to hear, is Apple. It's the second most shorted stock.
Wow.
Yeah, really.
I guess hedging somehow.
The thing about, let's get back, look at Apple again. The problem is indexing. Apple composes a huge percentage of all the indexes that it's a part of, sector, and market, whatever. And indexing, it started out as a good thing, but I'm starting to see it's not such a good thing, because when people sell the index, when they sell SPY, for example, all the stocks in the index are getting sold. So there's no selectivity. It's just a stampede, one direction or the other. And one of the things that concerns me is, I remember so long ago the decline from the February top, 35% decline. The market action that I saw during that period, and some of the coming out of that bottom, was just astounding. I mean, I've never seen it before. It was crazy. And I'm saying, going back to, maybe that's the problem, is, so much money is concentrated into a handful of stocks, and it's dragging the index all over the place when it decides to go one way or the other. Now here we've had a very beneficial up move, but the weekly chart is, this is just,
wow.
This is incredible. Yeah, this is incredible. And let's look at the monthly just to be really scared. So That's my opinion. Okay.
Right, right.
I don't have a crystal ball.
No, I know. I wish we all did. And I know tons of people out there are holding both Apple and Tesla. And, you look at those monthly charts, the weekly charts. I mean, I don't see anything on there that would tell me, to sell it at this point, because we do still have, PMO running up nicely. It's not overbought there on that Apple chart, but it's time to protect yourself for sure. I mean, I know I don't own Apple at this point, maybe one of how many few people in the world who doesn't. But if I were, I am in a couple of stocks that have done these nice vertical moves, but it's really, in my opinion, at least I know what I'm doing with my portfolio is making sure those stops are in play, because that's really the best way. I know that's what people have been writing me. Well, how do I protect myself? How do I, you know what? That's really the best way to do it. So
Here's
figuring it out. Yeah, go ahead.
here's the Dow finishing today. Most of the Dow was down. Of course, we have Apple having its grand day. But let's see, we want to look at the Dow is weighted arithmetically price. And let's see, where, there it is. Oh, there it is. Apple.
Yes.
So it used to be ranked number 1 by price. It's now number 17.
Yeah, I mean, I'd read that as far as the Dow with the weighting of Apple, it's going from like a 12% weight to a 3%. But at the same time, you may be losing that weighting on that particular tech stock, but technology now is represented not 20% as before, but now 27% weighting on technology in the Dow. So it'll be interesting to see how this affects, it going forward. But you're right. I mean,
one of the things I think we're going to notice now is a huge divergence in the way the S&P 500 performs and the Dow performs. If you go, what I heard on the Business Channel today was, as of Friday, 1,400 points of that number was from Apple. So, and you notice today the S&P was down. They took it off the tube there, but it's like down 7% today, and the Dow was down like, points, and the Dow was down 200 and something. But the point being that the Dow and the S&P have kind of marched in step with one another. But now they're not going to. It's going to be some strange divergences.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a real interesting shakeup here now that we've got these mix of stocks in there. Some of the ones that I know were gold. We should talk about gold for sure. Since you've got it up, let's do that.
Right. I'm having a problem with GLD versus the actual price of gold. GLD is obviously owns futures contracts, and our dollar gold symbol is a continuous contract version of gold. But this is the trading vehicle, and what we have here is a descending triangle. And one of the things about triangles, remember, the flat side is the weakest. So that is a problem, and is struggling trying to get above this resistance level, which is where the 2011 top is. I'm not concerned. I think gold is actually going to go higher, but it's just like it always has been. It struggles sometimes, and just goes lower than you think it's going to go. Then it takes longer to get up to where you think it needs to go. we're at that point now. It's still
The dollar gold chart look like? I mean, what's the big difference? I mean,
okay.
obviously that 2011 top, but
Let me.
I know I surprised you.
I'm not sure I have. Yeah, I do. I've got it.
Yeah, you should.
Okay,
There
there
we
it
are.
is. So we've got a. Yeah. Now we have a symmetrical triangle, which is the bullish. Or let's say it's in this case it's bullish because it's a continuation pattern. So in this little spike down here makes the difference. So
Hmm.
if it went for that, it would be uh, descending triangle.
Right. It has managed to hold that 2011 top, though. Certainly.
Yes, yes. And uh, again, in a bull market, there's a bias in the pricing in that it will favor bullish formations more than it would in an even market, a flat market.
Yes.
And bearish formations will not carry the weight that they would in a bear market.
Right. Right.
So that's
Okay.
that's me for today.
Okay. Wow. All right. Let's see. Well, I'm going to
Oh,
ask.
oh,
Oh, go
one
ahead.
one quote I picked up in the um, Evergreen GovCal newsletter, but it was a quote of Jack Bogle, who is the founder of Vanguard Funds and the creator of index investing. He says, or said, if everybody indexed, the only word you could use is chaos, catastrophe. The markets would fail. So
Hmm.
that's what I was getting at earlier in my presentation here.
Right. Right. All
It's
right.
it's not a good thing.
No. No. There. Well, that's what it's sort of becoming its own bubble, isn't it? You
Yeah,
know, we've had all these various bubbles over the years, and this one certainly. I know we've both been reading and hearing about it that the indexing could be the next bubble. All right, so here is the monthly chart. For the month, we were up just over 7% on the S&P. Over here, this is that buy signal I was telling you about, that long-term PMO buy signal. We had already had it, it was already in place earlier in the month, but like I said, we don't log it until the end of the month, the PMO signals for the monthly chart. So, I mean, it's been, when you really look at it, a big picture, there's been a lot of twitch, which is very unusual really for the monthly PMO. I mean, we had some of that happen back here in the early 90s, but typically you get nice clean crossovers that hold for quite a while. And we're getting all this bounce here. We had the buy, then we had the sell. Now we're back on the buy. I don't think I would get overly excited about this, honestly, until I could see that, it was getting past this previous top. We could just still be looking at more of this sidewinding, if you will, going on. But certainly nice breakout for the month, closed near the top of the bar for the month, so near the monthly high. So, certainly not a bad month. I guess really the big question that we can
before you
concern.
go,
Yeah.
um, the with the PMO, first of all, what level is it? It's very high plus, so that's in its favor. So the chopping around that it does at that level is kind of irrelevant. Okay, but now if it starts trending downward, even if it's at a high level, then you should get concerned.
Right. Sounds good to me. All right, let's go ahead. We have a few more minutes and I'll be doing my diamond of the week. So let me go ahead and grab that. Oh, I do have the screen, don't I? I'm going to grab the screen. Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to I have a few minutes, so I wanted to just take a quick run through some of the sector charts. I covered COM last week. It's the place I was looking to, get a nice improvement last week. certainly got a nice move, kind of consolidated after that. Could be a flag forming here for the comm sector. I still like the shape of these indicators. You know, you're still seeing those rising bottoms. You're getting that participation within that sector. So I think that sector still looks fairly healthy. The other one I'm going to bring to your attention, here's XLE. And of course, this was the one that we've been waiting for, a silver cross where the 20 goes above the 50. We came so close at the middle of this month. And we were ready to just log it. If I recall, Dad, we were like, I think we'd already updated our spreadsheet. We were ready for it to go.
Well, I normally will, if the price had been above there, well above it, I would have logged it. But when it's close, you just have to wait till the next day.
Yeah, and it never did materialize. And you can see the participation in this sector has been a problem. You've got the BPI, the bullish percent index, is still heading lower. You know, I'm not seeing the kind of improvement I want here. But I have to say, and I've been telling my Diamond subscribers exactly this is an area I'm watching really closely, because there are some amazing opportunities within this sector, some beat down names. So, but it's not yet, the time isn't yet. We're not there yet, but I am watching very closely, because I think that's going to be one of those sectors where we can really take advantage. Real estate, somebody asked me about this in the trading room this morning, mostly sideways. I don't see any, you know, major crash ahead here. That was their question. You know, we've still got participation going on here. It's just not doing much. It's not somewhere I'd be putting my money at this point, just because it isn't doing much.
You know, that's because it's mostly REITs, and it's they're sitting around waiting to collect their rent still, you know.
That's a good point. So I'm going to look quickly here. My diamond of the week is going to be from the financial sector. And, oh, no, actually it's in the comm sector, which, like I said, I'm still looking at, is doing pretty well and maybe getting a breakout. So what is my diamond of the week? Believe it or not, it is Snapchat. I'm going to make this bigger so you can see it, but you can see that PMO has just turned itself up. It's almost in positive territory. It's just about giving us that buy signal. You can see some great volume coming in here for Snap. Nice scooter. And then that RSI is just now moving positive. And this is all happening right after a nice little breakout from a consolidation that we're seeing here. When I was looking at upside potential, if you could get in somewhere around in here on this breakout, just to that top back here, that's an 18.25% gain if we could just get back to that July top. So that would be kind of where I'm looking for my target. But this, I have to say, would be the diamond of the week. So, oh, also you can see the rising on the OBV, bottoms are rising, and we had mostly flat ones here up there as well. So I think a lot of good things going on with this chart. So that will conclude it. And that actually concludes the Decision Point show. Thanks for being here, Dad.
You're welcome.
All righty. And with that, I am going to say goodbye and happy trading.
Hey, Grayson Rose here with StockCharts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, consider giving it a like down below, maybe leave us a comment, and if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe at the link up above. We're gonna bring you daily content from an incredible collection of technical analysts and financial experts.